Okay, wonderful. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our show. This is Stress Awareness Month. So we're trying to show the people and give awareness about stress, especially in the workplace. Welcome to our live LinkedIn live session. I am your host, Kamogelo from Vela Personnel. And as you can recall, I've been doing these sessions, so I thought I should bring them back right now. And because we have a lot to discuss and a lot of information to share with you guys. So welcome again. Like I said, it is Stress Awareness Month. And our theme this month is less stress, more strength. So with this, we are trying to build, resilient workforces and also, just point out employee stress and show workplace resilience. So welcome, guys. So today's session is a very powerful one. It's all about balance to burnout. And, whatever leads to burnout, stress is there. So today's session, we just want to understand and address workplace burnout. And we have a very special guest today who's going to be showing us, what she actually does. And her name is Tabita Ntuli. So let's welcome her. And yeah, welcome, Tabita.
Good morning. I hope you can see me. I've switched on my video. I hope everybody can see me. I can't see myself though.
Okay. Yeah, I hope everybody can see
Oh, okay, great.
it.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Cool. So yeah, if you can just introduce yourself and what you do, I think that will be nice for our audience.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Kamogelo, for this opportunity. And I really appreciate coming on live as your guest to discuss this very timely conversation. It is timely. So thank you. My deep appreciation to you and your team for inviting me to come through. My name is Tabita Ntuli. My background is social work. I am a global health and social impact strategist with over 20 years of leadership across multilateral institutions, government systems, research bodies, and mission-driven organizations. So I have taken up roles that are very different and yet very similar in that in every position that I have taken on board, the foundations within which I would perform that job are based on my social work background. And I have been in the HIV/AIDS space in South Africa since the beginning, I always say. I know that's giving away my age, but I'm okay to share my age. So I have assisted South Africa's AIDS response since year 2000, and I have worked across board in research institutions and the bodies that I've just mentioned now to really assist us all as South Africans to get to a place where we are able to close the tap on new HIV infection. So that's my background in a nutshell. I am a leader at Lead Bloom Collective, an organization that is very close to my heart and an organization where I lead on the vision that is really embedded on assisting the workplace environment, the systems, as you call it, to
Mm,
best cater to women in midlife because this is the time when women get their promotions in their midlife. And this is also a time where they face life-given challenges that they cannot escape, that include their wellness, their mental state, perimenopause, menopause. So the role of Lead Bloom Collective is to really assist women in midlife and the organizations that they serve to best work together to support these powerful women that are holding these very powerful positions to perform within their best capacity. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. Thank you.
What a powerful intro. What a powerful intro. I like it. I like it. Hey. So welcome, Tabita. Hope we're gonna have a nice session, a nice discussion, and just educate the masses. And yeah, let's do this. So let's start with something honest here. A quick show of hands to the audience. You can just press the raise hand button over here, and so that we can engage with you guys. So, with a quick show of hands, who has felt completely drained by work at least, let's say once a year, once a year, who has completely drained by work? So yeah, I think we're getting a few responses there. So I think that already tells us something. So now I just want to call it out. What's that one word we'd use to describe that feeling? I don't know if you know, Tabita.
Burnout.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm also seeing in the comments that people are saying tired, some are saying overwhelmed, and some are saying frustrated. So, these are all the words that link to burnout actually, and stress. So, exactly. So that's the reality. Burnout doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like showing up every day, but you're not really there. So today we'll be unpacking what burnout really looks like and what causes it, and more importantly, what we can actually do about it, as employers and employees also to support each other with this burnout, I could say, theory. So let's start here because this is where many organizations get it wrong, okay? So I know a lot of people and organizations. So what are the signs of burnout that people often misinterpret as a bad attitude or bad performance?
So that's a question to me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the misinterpretation, the natural one is when you show up looking good. You show up with, you've washed your face, you dress decently, you show up at work, everybody looks at you and they think you got
Mm.
it all together. The other one is when there is such a thing called overperformance. You're
Mm.
busy. You are busy. But you don't have an outcome for yourself. You're not able to account for your own time that you've been busy. And it's also overthinking. It's overthinking, overburdening your mind, over consultation. When you know the subject matter or the deliverable that has kept you busy and has taken up all of your time, you
Mhm.
still feel the nudge to check up with other people to see if you got it right. When you know this, and this is correct. That those are simple signs of burnout that are often missed because everyone sees you busy, everybody sees you coming through to do the job. You are at work, and sometimes when you book off sick, it's also normalized because we have leave days in our workspaces,
Definitely,
right?
yeah.
So because I've booked my time off and I take a day, and this is the other big challenge we have as a community of people that are highly performing in the world of work is that we misinterpret stress for a moment of rest to
Mm.
get rid of it.
Yes,
You
yes.
take a Monday off so that you have 3 days to be okay. And that's just looking after the symptoms of what's really going on with you. And no one is able to pick up that you are burnt out
Yeah.
because you've just taken leave that is
Mhm.
3 or 4 days, and everybody's assuming that all is good. And you keep showing up and you're busy, even though you don't have outcomes, you don't have tangible deliverables that account for your time, and everybody misses it, including those that supervise you.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And I've also read a stat also, they've been saying that there's an increase of absenteeism in the workplace, and it's actually caused by, burnout, but it is not actually put in that way. People, they take sick days off, but they don't say that they are actually burned out. So yeah, I think that was quite interesting to read also. And this article was actually posted by a marketing agency because they are seeing a lot of their people, they're dropping in the creative space. So when it comes to pitching ideas, designing, and all of that, uh, they've seen a really high drop in that. And they actually did a survey to show that, or to ask the employees, are they dealing with stress or are they dealing with burnout? So that was quite a
Mhm.
nice, interesting read to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And also disengagement, you people are here, but they're not here. You know what
Mm,
you're here in body, but you're not here. You're disengaged. You have moments of missing time while you were present
yes.
because your mind is preoccupied. Your psyche is where you are worried about work and life in general, but you're present. So that too can people can miss out on an opportunity to support a colleague because they are present. So their presence is equated to fully present, which is not the case when
Yes.
someone is through burnout.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, I would like to also get to the root cause of modern stress or burnout in the workplace. So the real question is what actually causes burnout in today's workplaces? Because from my side, what I think is unrealistic deadlines that can cause, a lot of burnout, lack of role clarity. What are you supposed to do in your everyday? Not just jiggling around and, just picking up every piece of work that's in the
Mm.
office. I
Mhm.
also think poor communication. So whether
Yes.
with your colleague, with your manager, I think
Mhm.
that also causes a little bit of, burnout also. And,
Mm.
job insecurity and, economic pressure, like things are expensive now and you're seeing that your salary is quite not, it's not matching your daily or your monthly needs. And that has an impact on you. So I think those are some of the root causes of burnout in the workplace. So I'd like to hear from you, Tabita, as a wellness specialist. What do you think are the root causes of burnout?
It's what we call systems. I think you've actually put it in a very nice summary to mention all those key themes, all those important points in
Mhm.
terms of what the causes could be. But also we are contextualizing now this person we're addressing in within the world of work. So
Mhm.
with when you put me in the world of work, I'll use myself as an example. You have then too the responsibility of the employer. Yes, it's a two-way stream, of course, but most importantly, it is the responsibility of the employer to put in systems. By means of systems, we mean policies, governance policies, wellness policies, frameworks that are going to best make it possible to perform my job. So it's heavily embedded on your HR department, your supervisor, your leadership in the organization. It's also heavily embedded on what employee wellness programs or the wellness office within, I mean, the wellness department within the environment within which we work with.
Mhm.
So it is putting in those systems and also affording people the medical aid benefit. That is another system that we can put in with that really sort of assists the employee to navigate the world of work and manage their stress levels, not to get to in order to avoid burnout. And
Mm.
on the side of the employee, it's really about being aware of yourself, your internal locus of control, understanding and knowing who you are, and knowing when something is wrong and when you need assistance. And And in an ideal world, when you need that assistance, it's made available to you. So it's a two-way stream like that. However, what we have experienced in the world of work, and for some of us who have been in the world of work for over 25 years, is that you can have these systems in place.
Mm.
The person can be confident and comfortable to mention when they are not feeling good or when something is wrong. But it zooms in on the emotional intelligence of the powers that be in the workplace to define what must happen next and to work with you towards your support journey. So it becomes, you can have these systems in place. You can put the best employee wellness programs, you can have best HR policies, but the greatest question becomes, are they implemented? Are they implemented effectively? Are they implemented efficiently? Do they work with me in totality when I show up in the world of work as a midlife Black woman? Do they work in totality to support me as a social construct? Because remember, also employees that walk into the world of work are social, we are social beings.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true.
yes, we come from communities, we come from homes, we come from societies. So, do these policies and these frameworks best support me in the context of where I come from? And an example I'll make with this is if I have to hop on 3 taxis before I get to work, um, and it's winter. Let's use winter because South Africa, anyone that's watching this live, we are in autumn now, approaching winter.
Yeah.
So it's darker in the morning. And 6 o'clock in the morning today is darker than it was when it was summer. So
Yeah.
if I have to hop into 3 modes of transport before I get to work, and my supervisor has a meeting at 8 or 8:30, how does the calling of that particular, what is the intention of a 8:30 meeting
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
context of a
Because
staff member
you just
that
hopped
has
off the taxi and you get in
you
the
hop
office,
into
you
three
haven't
taxis.
settled down even.
And as you navigate, because you are worried about all kinds of things that can happen, because it's autumn, it's getting dark, and crime becomes rampant in darker seasons. We
Mhm.
know this. This is a general knowledge that winter and autumn, you see a spike in criminal activity because the days are short and the nights are longer. So criminals thrive in the dark. So when you leave home at 6 a.m., it's dark. So you have this meeting at 8:30, and you're the first person to speak in that meeting. Everyone else may have come through by their own cars, or someone was dropped off by their spouse. So how does the calling of a meeting at 8:30 best benefit me as a staff member in terms of my deliverables for a meeting that I'm about to speak to at 8:30 when I leave home at 6 a.m. and it's dark?
Mm. Yeah.
So this is an example that is, because we have to use real life examples. This is
Yeah.
one example I can use that I'm sure the people in the audience can associate with. And another one is a single mom with a who has a child with challenges. Let's say the baby is differently abled, has a disability that needs the mother to really be present and cater to. So mommy has to prepare this young one for school. School transport must pick this child up, and mama must make sure that baby is fully prepared for the transport that they're about to board to. As soon as that happens, you have then to hop onto your own transport to get to work. And
Mm.
let's say, for an example, the child misses his medication, the medication that is life-saving and they must take on a daily basis. And the transport is gone. And I'm expected to be at work. These are real life examples. This is
Yeah.
what happens in the real world, because we do take these jobs because we want, first of all, we want to put bread on the table.
That,
Second of it, we might be passionate about it,
mm,
but passion is neither here nor there. Primarily we walk into the world of work to cater to our loved ones. So
yes.
when our loved ones are happy, we can best perform on the job. So when my little one has missed their lunchbox or their medicines, I mean, lunchbox probably, if the school caters has a feeding scheme, the child might eat at school. It's not a problem. Or you could call a teacher and ask the teacher to buy the child food at the canteen, and that problem is taken care of. What about a circumstance where they miss their medicines because we are all rushed in the morning and you need to get to this transport? It's hooting, it's outside, and I
Mm.
also have to get to work.
Nice, nice, nice. Because it also leads into I think my next question, it's all about culture and leadership, and talking about your first point, like having a meeting in the morning and you're the first one to speak. So I just want to touch on culture also, just to see how it impacts on burnout. So how does company culture contribute to burnout, even when the workload seems manageable, like you were saying, the early morning meetings, you had to catch three cabs, and yeah, if you can just elaborate on that, I think that will be nice for the audience.
Oh, culture. Oh, culture. You know, culture. People don't leave. There's this old saying that may sound like cliche right now, that people don't leave jobs, they leave toxic environments. And
Mhm.
allow me to use the language of toxic environments, because a culture is a defining factor for many of us. You will stay if the culture is understands you in totality and is able to contextualize whom you are in the world of work based off on where you come from. That's that kind of leadership is what we is ideal, where culture accommodates um, the people that walk in to perform the job. The culture has to a degree be comfortable for me to stay another day and be willing to come on the next day. But in the real world, it's a challenge, because also, Kamogelo, you can't talk about culture and not talk about people. Because you
Mm.
talk about culture, you're not talking about walls, you're talking about leadership.
Sure.
Leadership defines the culture of the organization, full stop. It cannot be the receptionist, with all due respect, because those people make the world go round. It cannot be the person that does the garden or looks after the yard, security. Those people make our world go round in the world of work, but they don't define the culture of the organization. It is leadership that defines culture of the organization. It's as simply put as, I'm a parent. So I will use an example of being a parent. You cannot, and culture is something you live. It's not something you say.
Mm.
I cannot say to my son, who is 20, "Ugh, do not, I just want to use a light example. Um, we don't like wearing track pants in this house. Don't wear track pants. Because, and I gave silly examples. It's a
Yeah.
silly example. I say we don't wear track pants here because of da 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 da. A hoodie, don't wear a hoodie with the hoodie on your head, because this is an African home. In African homes, boys don't walk around in the house with hoodies on, um, culturally. And I say all of that. I know it's really a silly example, but it's a real example. And yet, my husband walks in the house in a full tracksuit.
So the cat.
That's a complete miss. You are playing mind games when you do that. It's it with a child, it looks like mind games, and I call it mind games. But guess what, Kamogelo? Even when we are older, those mind games still exist. The difference between when we are younger and when we are older is exactly that, the age. The behaviors don't necessarily change that much.
Yes.
It's the same. It's really the same.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
when hubby says no hoodies in the house, and yet he walks in with a hoodie on his head, how will he will have to say it a million times. Even if he says it a million times, my son my son will never listen to that because it's not enacted. So culture is what you do in the organization. We can have all these beautiful policies that sound really accommodating and humane, but if what we do is the opposite of what we have defined as a culture of the organization, we have a challenge. And also, much as I say, leadership has a big responsibility of defining culture, it's also a two-way stream. You engage your team at the beginning when you're defining the culture of your organization. That is why when new employees come on board, what we call orientation should be heavily embedded on the culture of the organization. It's all good to know how to apply for leave. It's all good to know what the rules are in terms of me owning a business and coming into this workspace. Or it's all good when we have rules that speak to if I need advance salary when I have challenges somewhere along the line in my life as I work
Mm.
here. It is all different when those policies, if we break our own rules in the organization, we are unreliable. We become unsafe.
Yes.
The psychological safety becomes a big problem because you cannot have it in writing and not act it out. If we have punctuality as a value in the organization and everybody must walk in at 7:30, everybody includes the boss of the organization.
Mm.
Everybody includes everyone in the organization. But if you see certain people walking in at 8, certain people walking in at 9, without that being fully defined for everybody to understand, you are creating unsafety.
Okay.
You are creating what we call groups, these cliques in the workplace. You are creating what we will define later on as corridor or water tank gossip,
Yeah.
because then everybody's going to be like, why is Kamo coming in at 9? What thing you
Yeah,
open for?
yeah, 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 yeah. I get
You
that.
create those things. Those are a creation of a workplace environment that is not fully in tune or authentic about the values of what they call culture.
Mm.
So when we define culture, it is really about monkey see, monkey do. I'm sorry to use that language if it offends
Okay.
anyone, but really it is about acting it out.
Out.
You do it. If here we don't, if in this organization we don't wear short sleeves, the boss must not show up here in short sleeves
Yeah,
because it's a rule that applies to everybody.
that's true.
Because then you break out, then you break your culture. Then your culture has no meaning. Then you create psychological unsafety for everybody to say, okay, so how do I? Because everybody at some point will want to come in at 9 and they will want to know how to get there because it's not in the rules. It's what you do that's not in the rules and you're consistent because in you doing that as leadership of the organization, you are being deliberate. Also, it's not a mistake. It's a it's your divide and rule mechanism. It's you dividing your team for reasons known to you as leadership in the organization. It's not a mistake. It's never a mistake.
Well put, well put. Yeah, I like what you were going into there. Hey, but right now, there's something that I would like to ask you also, you know. So let's shift into the solutions now, because this is where organizations often feel stuck. Like you were saying, they have these systems, these policies, but they're not implemented. So if you had to fix burnout starting tomorrow in any organization, what's the one thing you would change?
It's not even about changing. I was thinking about this a whole lot since I received your invitation, Kamogelo.
Mhm.
Let's understand the power dynamic in this organization first. Let's understand what what power is here, so that if we want to change anything, or it all answers lead back to the kind of power that is at play here. And by that, I mean, when you walk into the world of days, there are four categories to power. Yeah. There is power over. Power over is when leadership exacts control, domination, rules by fear, um, uh, creates inequality, um, um, divides and rules, enforces the culture of silence, and enforces the culture of dictatorship. So, if that is the work environment where you must understand it for yourself first. So, here there is power over, which is fear based. And if you rule by fear, you have to have a level of being a cruel person yourself,
Mm,
because there is no greater power than when people respect you. There is no greater
mm,
power. Even with our children at home, we never want our kids to be scared of us. We want our children to respect us,
mm,
right? That's why when we are wrong as parents, we say sorry, we apologize. We sit down and we talk, because we are not about being power over here, right? So to even get to jump into the subject of how do we fix it, understand the power dynamic that is here. So if it is
mm,
power over, it is a cruel work environment, simply put, crudely put. It is if there is dominance and control, if there is psychological unsafety there. So you really have to think about whether, and no matter what you do, no matter how much you medicate yourself as a burned out staff member, you are going to lose. And the worst thing that can happen is you losing your life. Whether you
mm.
lose it while you are in there or 2 years after you have left, because we've seen that too. People leave a particular workspace 3, 4 years. God forbid, we've buried them. They are gone. They are dead, because they have been on autopilot for the many years they've been there. There was no moment to offload, to decompress,
Mm.
to be. So the moment they leave, the nature of human beings is that nothing, the body keeps the score. The
Yeah.
body forgets nothing.
Yes.
So when the moment you walk, all of those things that need to be done, the body will bring to the fore for you to attend to them. But what do we do? Because our socioeconomic circumstances force us, unfortunately, sometimes we hop on to the next job with
Uh,
all of that burden of 15 years, 20 years, and everything you've endured. You don't have a moment to heal and really deal with the 20 years you've had, and you hop into the new work environment, and you become the worst version of yourself there, because you take yourself, you don't leave the abuse and the trauma of the previous employer when you walk into the door into the new workplace. You take it with you. When you walk in on your day one, you bring all of that with you here.
yeah.
So let's
Like,
understand
for
that.
example,
Also,
maybe like
mm,
the unrealistic workloads and the deadlines that you had in your previous company, you also
yes,
move them in there, you know, and
yes.
that kind of creates, I could say, the burnout that we are talking about, because you are just
Hmm.
moved to a high pressured environment.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
high
you walk
pressured
in as such,
environment.
you walk in to expect that too. And lo and behold, if you're going to lead people like that,
Mm,
lo and behold, because you walk in with that energy, and you now, because you have a moment of power over, like you have seen,
mhm.
like it has been demonstrated, you're going to be power over here. Even if you find the culture beautiful, accommodating, peaceful, you are going to be the odd one, because you have not dealt with what you have been through, right? So there is power with as well, which is another version of power, where there is a real recognition of collective strength, of solidarity and shared influence. This one is safe, because in here I can air my views, I can tell my boss how, or my supervisor, give suggestion, contribute to strategic conversations with comfort to say, maybe we change this way, it will work that way, da 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 da. Because you become that kind of an employee because the environment allows you to. There's, I don't like the language of allowing and disallowing because we are adults, but it is our reality.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a culture that allows thriving, that allows prosperity, that allows growth, that allows celebrating our successes as a team, as a collective. There
Mm.
is that kind of leadership, and that's
You
power
know
work.
what's the
And this is
perfect word for that? It's emotional intelligence.
yes, yes.
It's emotional
Absolutely.
intelligence. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not all, also, not everyone has that capability because emotional intelligence it requires you to be vulnerable and yet powerful at the
Oh,
same time.
wonderful.
And majority of the times, we do not like being vulnerable because society has taught us that being vulnerable is being weak, especially the boy child, the man, the male, tigers don't cry, boys don't cry, you
Big
show
boys
up
don't
here.
cry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you are always egoistic in terms of how you lead because you don't want to show that you're weak, things like that. But emotional intelligence is what catapults you. That this is why you sometimes see the lowest ranking staff member, and yet everybody goes to this person for counseling, and they share the most vulnerable life experiences with this particular staff member. And they're not different, except those kinds of people are emotionally intelligent. And this is the
Mm.
caliber of people that the workspace should have for us to be progressive. And
Thank
then we have power too, as we address the how do we address burnout. The power to and power within. Power within is your own internal lotus of control, where the work environment affords you to use your own initiative, and you are able to work with projects, customize things, discuss innovation, be agile, and really upskill yourself because
you.
you are in an environment that allows you to do that. So it's very important to recognize the powers that are at play in the world of work because that kind of power is what is going to define or decide whether you are going to thrive or you are going to end up with physical illness due to the circumstances of the world of work. So I feel that is quite crucial to unpack. As we find strategies to deal with burnout, very important, very needed. However, what is also equally important for you to understand the powers at play and the kind of power that is dominant in your world of work, so that you can best um, adopt skills and ways of how you support yourself in that environment.
Nice, 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 nice. I like that. I like that.
Mm.
So just to also leave, just to have engagement from our audience also, guys,
Mhm.
which of these feels like something your organization could, realistically implement immediately? Okay?
Mm.
Yes, would like to hear from you in the comment section because burnout doesn't need a big, complex strategy to start, uh, to start improving. Sometimes it starts with small intentional changes. So, leaders, I hope you are listening.
Mhm.
So even from the beginning of the conversation, we've always mentioned leadership because I think they're the ones that are steering this burnout, whether it's causing it or actually resolving it. So,
Mhm.
the role of leadership, it has a huge impact on both sides. So
Yeah.
what does a burnout aware leader actually look like? I'd like to hear from you.
A burnout aware leader or leadership is one that is first empathetic, one that is understanding of what the employees are going through and finds means and ways collectively together on how to navigate those terrains. So, an empathetic leader is a leader that is fully aware that there is such a thing called burnout and it has implications that have direct outcomes to the expected deliverables
Mhm.
that an employee is expected to show up with or a team is supposed to deliver on. So empathy plays a very big role in a leader that is progressive as far as awareness on burnout is concerned. And number two, the most important is an emotionally intelligent leader. Oh, that one is a winner all round. The one that is fully aware and is able to pick up on emotions that are at play every day in the world of work. Because society and everywhere, we have been taught to suppress our emotions, especially men. And also for women, when women show emotion, they are called all kinds of things, which is unfortunate because showing emotions is data. That's data. That's your inner compass giving you inside information on what is going on. So you have to be really emotionally intelligent. We're not saying be soft, allow things to happen, allow wrongdoings, don't hold people accountable. Because that was an argument one time to say, so are you saying people can just do as they wish, you can't hold them accountable? And I had a problem even with that to say, are they children? Is this how we speak about other adults? Because this relationship is contractual. It has a
Mm.
start and an end. So when I take up a job, I take it to meet the deliverables and to also earn an income. So at what point do we turn this relationship into a dysfunctional child and parent relationship? Because it shouldn't be that way. So empathy and emotional intelligence, young people use the language of, and also younger professionals that are progressive use the language of read the room.
Read the
Understand
room.
what's going on? Don't know what that means, Kamogelo. I don't know. I'm much older than read the room. I'm
Go
not that
ahead.
generation. So I think then be able to read the room and see people fully for who and what they're going through and find means and ways to support them. Because why? People spend half of their life at work.
Mm.
That's a long time. That's a super long time. So if you're gonna come in here and you're not gonna care about how I feel and what I think, how then do I grow? Skillfully, intellectually, how do I grow? So it is very important that leadership becomes empathetic and emotionally intelligent. Everything else can be taught, but those two form a foundation of a very good leader.
Nice, nice, nice. And I think, also, and a burnout aware leader, it's someone who models, your healthy boundaries, someone who implements like your wellness Wednesdays, nice
Mhm.
exercises, just to clear people's minds in the office, And it's also
Mhm.
a person that checks on them also, not
Yeah.
looking for tasks, but, just asking about your personal being, not going
Mhm.
into deep, but those small questions. How's the family?
Yeah.
Is your
Yeah.
son doing well in school?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's also about creating a safe space
Mhm.
for honesty. Like
Mhm.
if I'm
Mhm.
overwhelmed with work, I should tell my manager that, hey, you can't give me more tasks today. Like I still have to finish
Mhm.
these because there's a deadline. So
Mhm.
honesty, I think that also, just lessens the burnout because you can't
Mhm.
just take every task that comes and say, yeah, I'll do it, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just have to be
And
honest and
and and
say,
people sorry about that. So and people can gauge when you're being authentic. We have a
yeah,
radar. that tells when you're being authentic. And people appreciate authentic leadership.
Listen.
When you're authentic, empathetic, emotionally intelligent,
Intelligence.
that's leadership of the now and the future. That's the
Mm.
leadership of the now and the future. Because also for you as a leader, you feel safe.
Yeah.
I can only not even imagine. Yes, maybe imagine when you are a power over leader, the one that is dominant and authoritarian and dividing and ruling and perpetuating gossip and fear, you are also not safe.
Mm.
You are not safe. You
That's true.
cannot be safe with people that fear you. And you don't have to go and read extensively to know that for yourself.
Self. Yeah.
You are not safe if you rule, and people can only fear you for a short while. But if you're a power over, like I said earlier on, that when you're a power over type of a leader or leadership team, you are cruel. You have to accept that. Know that we here are cruel and we are going to lead by fear, dominate, divide, and rule. But also understand the circumstances for your outputs. Are you really going to get the cream of the crop in terms of the deliverables you want to achieve? Can you trust this team to deliver when you are not there and applying fear and domination? So
Mm.
if you feel if you can't if what I say makes it difficult for you to breathe, that's a clear indication that you can apply. Human beings are not designed to fear someone for a long time.
Yeah.
Fear is a short-term emotion for humans. However, if you apply consistent doses of cruelty in your leadership, that fear then prolongs, takes longer. And that is the fear that creates resentment, hatred, unsafety.
Mm. Yes.
And it's all directed back to who? Leadership.
Shit.
So
Yeah.
it's a two-way stream.
Sweet.
When you
Mhm.
apply fear in your leadership as a tool to control and dominate people, understand that you are going to breed resentment and hatred. And it's no longer a healthy working environment. And it's neither psychologically safe or physically safe for the leadership and for the employees.
Please. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you on that. And there's a quick question also to our leaders who are currently, a part of our audience. So, my question is, if your team, copied your work habits exactly like
Mm.
from start day to end of day, the way that you work, would they burn out or would they thrive? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say your comments in the section here. I would love to hear what you guys are actually thinking, Okay, wonderful. So I'd love to leave you with this, okay? Burnout is not just an employee issue. It's an
Mm.
organizational signal telling us that something in the system needs to change. Okay?
Mhm.
That's a powerful one. It's not an employee issue, it's an organizational one. So, let's look out for the little changes that we can do, and I'm sure they will go a long way. Okay?
Mm.
Wonderful. So, before we close, I'd like to hear from you also. What is the one small thing you are taking back to your workplace after this conversation?
Mm.
Because we gave out, the root causes. We gave out practical solutions that you can, implement, and we
Mm.
also, just a little point out on leadership, on what they can do and how they can change. So there has to be something that you are going to be taking back to your workplace after here. Okay, so we're just taking a few responses on the comment section. And then, yeah, I'll be just, engaging with you guys. All right. So I'm going to leave you with this powerful quotation, okay? This powerful quote that I have here. Healthy organizations don't happen by accident. They are built.
Mm.
Okay? So it can take you a week, it can take you a year, but as
Mhm.
long as you are building a healthy organization, I think that's the plan that, anyone in leadership, anyone in HR, anyone working in wellness should do, whether it's a week, a month, 6 months, the plan is to have a healthy organization. And that's not an accident. It has to be built. And a lot of people
Mm.
have to be taught and everything. Okay?
Mhm.
Wonderful,
Mhm.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Tabita, for your wonderful insights. I hope everybody, has learned something today. Yes,
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And I'm available online. People can DM me. I'm able to show up in organizations and have these conversations. Thank you so much for having me on your platform as well.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the conversation and more importantly, for being a part of creating a healthier workplaces. Okay. As you can see, we have Tabita's LinkedIn there, so don't mind reaching out. She's here to help. Like I said, she is working independently, so she'll do everything in her means to, offer her services to you. Okay. Wonderful. So our next session that I'm having is on resilient teams on the 30th of April. I'll have another guest also. So just follow our pages to see updates on that session. And I'll be putting out content as I always do on the topics that I have. Okay? Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. See you on the 30th. Signing out. Goodbye.